That's Footy and Frothies. We are going to do our preview show now, round 27 of the National Rugby League. Daggy Barney with you as always to get stuck into all of this. Barn, are you pumped up for this?
Not particularly, because I can see a lot of very understrength teams coming out here. Obviously, there's there's 2 or 3 massive games in this round 27, which obviously will be the highlight of the weekend, and be looking forward to some of those. But I do see probably 4 or 5 games which will be the equivalent of watching reserve grade or worse.
Well, we are. What would there be? About 110 players missing this weekend or something to wrap us up this season. We talked about in the review show about how Supercoach, if you're running a league, just get out of it before you get to this stage.
Absolutely.
I see that there's some pushback from the RLPA and clubs now saying basically this is a sort of a byproduct of State of Origin because it goes so long and drags through. I believe there's going to be a push in future years to have Origin done dusted.
Every year. If you can't go up or down in position coming into semi-finals, why wouldn't you give fucking half your team a week off? It's not going to matter if there's Origin involved or not.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
There's no perfect answer bar what AFL do where everyone just has a week off.
With the round before,
yeah.
But even then, you probably find some people
that do it anyway.
You know, you're guaranteed first or second. Cleary, Walsh, they go into Cotton Wool the week before just to make sure that they're their first week of the finals. Doesn't stop you from flogging them at training. But
that's true. So the Masters get it right and get their teams to peak come late in that final series. But for the sake of the project, we'll get into the preview. Unless there's something you want to talk about.
Nope.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
Me neither. All right, we kick off Thursday night in a game which could decide the minor premiership, and Brisbane have decided they're going to rest Reece Walsh, Herbie Farnsworth, Selvin Cobbo, Ezra Mam, Billy Walters, Payne Haas, Kurt Capel, while Adam Reynolds, Carrigan and Staggs will also not play. Josh Rogers will make his debut, and Blake Motzer, someone who you spruiked to be one of the hookers of the year.
Oh, yeah. Hasn't played a game.
Must be in for a good game here from 14.
He played 20 minutes for one game, I think, during the year.
We get Tristan Saylor back, and Jordan Pereira makes his first appearance on the wing. For the Storm, no Meaney, no Seve, no Coates, no Munster, no Welsh, no Nelson, no Tui Kamakamika, no Eisenhuth, no Lorero. Also, no Grant Hughes. Happy's going to start at fullback, so we get to see essentially a full game out here. I imagine he might only make it an hour in if they score a few points. Justin Olam's back. Jaden Nikarima and Tyron Wishart is in the halves. Sualavi Fa'alongo makes his NRL debut off the bench, which also consists of Alec McDonald, Jack Howarth, and Aaron Penne. Well, here we go. We get to start with a game like this. How do you even line these up, Barn? What do you even say here?
Yeah, as I said,
which is incredible for a game to decide the so-called minor premiership.
This is the absolute reserve grade game of the weekend. For mine, I just still like the consistency that you see out of this Storm back five. Like, look at those blokes. There's plenty of first grade experience in there. Pappenhausen, I've got a feeling that this game will get scrappy, and the Storm will be looking for some way to play points and find points. And it would not surprise me if you see Pappenhausen fold into that 6 or 7 position when their halves aren't firing for a good 20 or 30 minute period, and just provide enough opportunity for Melbourne to score that 1 or 2 extra tries over this Broncos team. That being said, the matchup, his direct matchup is the real big reason that the Broncos can win this game as well. I really like what we've seen out of Tristan Saylor and the games that he's played. He's been a live wire at the back, can provide opportunities for his outside men, and can do it himself as well. So I think it really comes down to the best performance out of the ones here. Throw in Olam, Coates and Warbrick in the back line for the Storm. I think as long as they don't get the front door kicked in by the Broncos forwards that they do have here, I think the Storm will sneak away with it 1-12. Man of the match, Pappenhausen. First try scorer, Justin Olam.
You can see. Oh well, the other interesting is Qatar and King both on the field, shore up that whole that middle as well. Yeah, given the at least 45 seconds of thought I've given to this game, I absolutely respect what you're saying. I'm going to tip Brisbane just because it, it's a minor premiership game. Get them up and going.
Get the kids
pumped
right
to
up.
really do it. And this might be the biggest baby Broncos game of all time.
Lovely. I love it.
Piacora, Ricky Palacia, Flegler leading
There's
the way.
still some good guys
Still
in
trying to
there.
pin
Yeah,
him there.
absolutely.
Jock
And-
Madden is who I'm going to have man of the match. Just back that, surely an ex-Tiger and maybe get something right in their life. And lead them home in an ugly game. But everything you said's absolutely, wouldn't even knock anything you just said there. I haven't even looked at prices, but I would be shocked if Melbourne didn't start favourite. And, man of the match, Madden, first try scorer, Tristan Saylor, for the same reasons. Just
toss
I
a
can have an
coin in
each-way
the
bet.
air and have a bet.
Exactly.
Whatever way the coin falls.
We get to 6 p.m. Friday night where the Seagulls host the Tigers, both on their way to Mad Monday.
Yep.
For Manly. Dean Madison comes onto the bench. Tuolangi back to 18th man, so he's really covered himself in glory after leaving the Tigers. No Schuster still. And it's Jake's 200th first grade game. Congratulations to him.
Madison's got a bit about him too.
Yeah, he
Don't
has.
mind Madison.
Alex Twile and Jake Simpkin come back to the team, which means that Appy goes back to 7. Stefano and Bateman are both out. Josh Filati makes his debut at centre. And Kit Luali, I assume is how it's pronounced, gets his first grade debut off the bench. Matamua starts at 13. And Clemmer moves back into the starting lineup. Unfortunately, the way Manly played last week, I think they'll just produce a similar performance to what we saw.
Gap job, I reckon.
It's clock off time. I think the forwards will be up for about 20 minutes of fun stuff. And then they'll do exactly what they did to Canterbury last week. Long range tries, early shifts, DCE pulling apart what needs to pull apart, opening it up. And Kohler and Sabra will be off and gone. Unfortunately, 13 plus Manly. First try scorer, Jason Saab, man of the match, DCE. Turns out he's a good footballer.
Yeah, I think, as I said, you might see 20 minutes softening up through the middle of the field, as you said. But, it'll turn into a game of touch footy for the last hour in this game. And who's got the better creative spine and the faster players on the outside edges? Manly 13 plus. DCE man of the match. I'm going to go with Vega to score the first try. I think it might just be a barge over for the first one. And then you'll see some of the long range stuff get come to play at the back end of the game. But I think it'll be an exciting game to watch because I think you're going to see a lot of ball movement and a lot of attacking opportunities. Whether it's all one way or not is yet to be decided. I hope the Tigers come out and create, get themselves 4 or 5 tries and make this game interesting. But, I can see a lot of points in this game.
This might be the last time we see a few of these Tigers,
Yes,
at least in those colours.
I think so.
Good luck to Belinda Sharp making her NRL debut. One of the matches around, Rabbitohs and Roosters with top 8 implications, is the main event Friday from Accor Stadium. Blake Taff is the fullback now for Souths, with Latrell serving his suspension. Isaac Thompson comes onto the wing for Tane Milne, who drops us to 18th man, which means he's probably been dropped.
Should have been dropped a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tavita Totola goes to prop and Jai Arrow to the bench. And Michael Cheekham is going to come in for Jacob Host. Teddy's back for the Roosters. And Manu's been named in the centres, but we'll wait and see on how that plays out. No Wira Hargraves, and that would mean that the bench now looks like Fletcher Baker starts at 8.
Yep.
Sanders Smith, Eden Butcher, Terrell May, Angus Crichton. How are we going here?
I think the Roosters will be too good. I really liked what I saw out of Suwali Kiri last week. You had Teddy back in there with a point to prove and a grudge match up against the South Sydney team. Their halves have been uninspiring from the South team for the last 5 or 6 weeks, whereas the Roosters have seemed to have gone up a level with their creativity and creating opportunities for guys to score tries. And as you mentioned before, they've got a pretty physical and skillful backline. So if they can get on the outside edges of this South Sydney team, I expect them to win. I'm only going to go 1-12 just because of the rivalry and the inconsistencies that we've seen out of both teams recently. Roosters 1-12. Kiri man of the match. I'm going to go with Billy Smith, first try scorer.
I just looked now at Sportsbet, and Roosters are even money. It's the bet of the weekend. They'll win this game. They'll win 13 plus.
Okay.
South's a shot. I think there's too much inner turmoil. I think, it is the clash, this, that, and the other. But I think that club's in deeper turmoil than we realise. Their edges have been ragged for a month and a half now. Where are Roosters going to go?
Mm-hmm.
Early clean ball to Billy Smith, to Tupou, to Swai. I assume if Manu's not here, Corey Allen comes in on a wing and Swaley moves to a centre or vice versa.
Yep.
And Teddy's going to be in around all of that. And this could be a mess by the end of it. I think Roosters, you could make an argument, are going to be the sixth best team in a comp by the time this comes all said and done. They are going, and their forwards are going to maul the match up. I don't really there's no fears in getting bashed out of this game from his South forward pack.
Wouldn't think so, no.
So I'm going to say that. I'm going to say man of the match Teddy. Like, he's going to be up, and he's been fantastic this last month. I think they've finally worked out I know he has to now deal with Walker on the field too, which was the concern first half of the year. But I think they've got that pattern right, and he'll lead the way here and drag them home. So man of the match for him, first try scorer Billy Smith, for everything you sort of touched on earlier. We get to 3 o'clock at Suncorp Stadium, where the Dolphins host the Warriors. For the Dolphins, Jesse Bromwich is back from a groin injury, and Jared Wallace goes back to the bench. No Josh Call, so Max Plath joins the bench. For the Warriors, they're quite happy to rest everyone. So
yes,
the outs are Fanua Blake, Chance, DWZ, Metcalf, Johnson, Torhu, and Egan, all well deserving of a week off, which means that their backline is Tuapiki, Kossi, Berry, Pompey, Montoya, Tamari Martin returning, Volkman at 7. Bunty starts at prop, Barnett's the other prop, Lussick, Curran, Niokore, Dylan Walker starts at lock, Valami, Ford, Siren, and Ali. I'm still going to tip the Warriors because even though it is a bit of a drop in grade, and I understand why Dolphins are favourite, I think the gas tank's empty. I think there's still enough from this forward pack and potentially from Tamari Martin and co to produce points in a shit game. I think they can probably win this game 18-16 or 18-12 with even luck. So I'm going to go that way. A loss wouldn't shock me, but I just can't see much coming from here. Obviously, if Dolphins win, Izaka's going to be man of the match and that sort of stuff. But I'm going to say with Tamari Martin, man of the match, first try scorer, Izaka.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go with Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a forward matchup that they can contest and possibly even come out maybe better once the benches start getting involved. Jared Wallace has been in very good form. SASA can do a job. The starting lineup's pretty solid. And as long as they hold the middle, I think they've just got a little bit more. You've seen what Nicarima's been doing recently. If you can get the hammer involved with the Sarko and start playing a bit of touch footy, I just think that the Dolphins might have a few more points in them. One last hurrah. Wayne will be doing his best to get them up so they can finish the season on a win. Dolphins 1-12. Man of the match, I'm going to go with Cody Nicarima, creating most of the opportunities for this team, and first try scorer is Sarko.
Beautiful. We get to the 5:30 game, which is the minor premiership deciding game, potentially, at Bluebet Stadium, where Penrith have all but named a full-strength team. Edges is back, Taruva's back, Crichton goes back to the centre, Colga is at 6, so obviously no Luai. Leoto and Fish start. Summerton is starting at hooker. Sorensen, Martin, Yeo, Luke, Smith, Lenu, and Hosking. Isaac Tango on an extended bench. Interested to see if they try and get him in or out and give him a blowout. For the Cowboys, it's a must win here, I guess. So, they're full strength. Same as what we saw. Well, no Val still, but Zach Laybut's in the centres. They're all but unchanged, I would suggest. No Nanai, and that's about it.
Nanai hasn't been there for a couple of weeks recently anyway. Yeah, it's going to be a super tough matchup for both
For
sides.
the record, if Brisbane lose Friday night, I would suggest that.
This side stays the same, but if Brisbane win,
If Brisbane. No, they have to. If Brisbane lose, Penrith still have to win, don't they?
yes.
Okay.
But if
If
Brisbane
win, we see 8 of these blokes sit out.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the big caveat you're going to put on this game. If Brisbane do manage to win the Thursday night game, don't be surprised if this lineup looks half this lineup looks completely different to what it is at the moment. Still think Penrith, even though Cowboys are going to come with everything that they've got, I just really like the Penrith's capacity to be able to control most games that they play. I think they will be able to contain this forward pack, and as long as the effort's there, and if this lineup is as it is that they say is going to run out, I'm going to go with Penrith 1-12. Cleary doing what he does and providing so many opportunities for the Penrith outside backs to score tries. The front row battle's the big one for mine. I think Fish and Leota, if this game is on the line and these two are out there to rip and tear, they can really control the middle of the field for that, the start in 20, 30 minutes and the finish 20, 30 minutes. And that gives Penrith a massive boost. And I'm going to go with Leota to score the first try with the barge over.
If this game is on the line, Penrith, the only reason I'm not going 13 plus is because I think they'll put it to bed and then, throttle down and
maybe take a few blokes off.
Yeah. So, but I think this will be fairly comfy, and they'll get back to doing what Penrith does, and everyone will feel much more at home with everyone.
The big worry is the Cowboys playing touch footy.
Yeah.
If they get behind.
Well, what they need to do is do what Parra did and make him chase. Get in, try and break it open.
Get to the edges.
Townsend needs to kick
passing.
like DC did a couple of weeks ago. Kick along the ground, make him have that couple of 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It takes a bit longer, and then set it up from there. We'll see what they produce. If that is the case, though, I still think Penrith go through the gears and just would want a nice, clean finish to the year.
Absolutely.
Just to make themselves feel better about themselves. Clear early the way, and he'll be man of the match. First try scorer, I'm going to go with Tuo, because that's what Tuo does. If they all sit out, then I'll change my tip to Cowboys on the ESPN app come Saturday afternoon.
100%.
Knights and Dragons from Netstrata Jubilee is up next, where Jack de Belin is back. Oh, he's suspended, of course. He's back now with Michael Milo back to the bench. Sione Finau is out, and yes, thanks, mate. And Max Faine is back on the wing. Jaden Sullivan is on the extended bench in what would be his last game for the club. No Ponga, so Lockie Miller's been brought back from obscurity to play here. Hastings is named on the extended reserves. I suggest, if he's fit, he's fit. If he's not, he's not. Same as with Fitzgibbon. Frizzell Gayo Crossland has been rested, and Brody Jones, Tuala come in for them. New Brown starts at hooker, and Riley Jones makes his NRL debut off the bench as a hooker. Interesting one because, if given a suggestion, they're resting 4 blokes anyway. Can't imagine they're rushing Hastings back unless he wants a blowout. No. So I'm still going to tip Newcastle. Mm-hmm. I just can't tip the Dragons essentially.
Pretty much.
Newcastle 1-12. I think they're still up tempo enough. I still think what we saw out of these juniors, and once as we know, once teams are on a roll, momentum takes you a long way, and these young blokes will step up and perform. First try scorer Mazu, and man of the match Tyson Gamble in for a big game.
Still a pretty solid forward pack there from the Knights. Yeah, the Knights still got a pretty solid forward pack here going up against the Dragons, who have, while they've been very consistent in their effort in the last couple of weeks, still have struggled to find points and to be able to dominate any of their oppositions. Pretty handy replacement with Lachlan Miller coming in to take up Ponga's spot. Obviously, he's not going to be Ponga, but we saw what he did earlier in the year, and it was pretty destructive at different times. So I'm going to go with Clune. I really liked what he's done recently as the man of the match for the Knights team. I think he'll get them around the park. He may even provide a try opportunity or two with his passing and kicking games. The Newcastle side to win 1-12, just on the back of the effort that the Dragons have been putting in recently might keep it close enough. And I'm going to go with Lockie Miller to score the first try on his return.
Sunday afternoon, the Titans host the Bulldogs at Seabus Super Stadium for the Titans. Mo's back after missing last week with the birth of his child. Congratulations to him. No Isaac Liu for the Dogs, and Tavita Pango has been dropped. So that's the end of him. No final farewells, I suppose. No Harrison Edwards either. Max King goes to lock. Sam Hughes, Curtis Morin comes in. Fatala Mariner and Ryan Sutton are on the extended bench. Right now, the starting props are Thompson and Knight. Ultimately, again, I can't tip the Bulldogs.
No, fuck no.
So, and the Titans have been good. And this will be coming home.
This will be a massive bash up, to be honest.
Yeah, coming home, back to having their key three forwards. Obviously, no halfback, no Jaden Campbell, but AJ, Kieran Foran, and their outside backs have been in very, very good attacking form of late. Yeah, bash up. 13 plus Titans. And I'm going to go man of the match for Feed. I think he might just feast here.
Yeah,
once those
quite
half
possibly.
gaps keep opening up, he might
Kieran Foran just feeding him short
killer
balls.
pride in running over Kikau and go there. So I reckon that's the way to go there. And for the last game of the season, just because I can, I'm going to tip Mo for man of the match.
Yeah, very good. I think, very similar thinking. I think that the Titans dominate the middle of the field for large chunks of this game. I think they win this very, very comfortably, to be honest. You've seen what the Dogs have been putting out recently, and Titans have got a better forward pack than what Manly have. Let's be frank, and I think they just run roughshod through the middle of the field against this Dogs team. Add in AJ coming in off the back there, and adding a little bit with Foran and Weaver. Weaver hasn't been bad either as a stand-in halfback. I can see a lot of points out of this Titans team. I'm going to go man of the match, Tino. I think he'll have a massive game and just tear this middle of the field apart. And I'm going to go Khan Pereira first try scorer because that's what he gets paid to do.
Exactly. Good luck to Casey Badger keeping up with play. The Sharks and the Raiders from PointsBet Stadium to decide. So what's the best and worst results here, Barn?
Worst results for both teams is to finish 9th. Best result is Canberra finish 7th or Cronulla finish 6th.
Okay, Grant Atkins for the pleasure. Nico's back. That can only help.
Actually, Canberra can go into 6th.
If they win.
And Cronulla out.
Okay. Nico's back. Trindle to 5'8". Moylan back to the bench is the main changes. Now, Horsburgh, he won't be here. Papi, he won't be here. So, Hohepa Puru comes onto the bench. Fogarty has a concern around his face, but at the moment, I'd be shocked if he didn't play, to be honest, in a game like this.
Yeah. Do or die game.
And I assume someone like Solo comes into the bench there. Should Horsburgh not be there?
Well, he's definitely not there, so...
Well, yes. I assume it's Pasami Solo. Interesting one here. But even though they're coming off that, I just think Sharks can score more points. I think Nico's a massive in. I like how direct they've been apart from, even the first half last week. I think if they can make Canberra chase, Canberra can't chase. If they can execute well first half, they can score 18 points. 6, 12, 18 points, I should say, in that first half. It'll be enough, and they can defend that back end of this, sort of 24-12. Ricky will have some excuses and carry on a bit like a pork chop, but 3 points, Nico. First try scorer, Mulatalo, and 1-12, Cronulla.
Cronulla. Big outs, Horsburgh, Papali'i. Sharks forwards have been the best that they have been recently over the last month or so. Even in the game last week, they weren't horrible. So I think they can match the Raiders forward pack, and if not, be better than them. I'm going to go with first try scorer, Tomoko. I think Canberra might strike out wide there. He's got the footwork and the strength to be able to show up Talakai, who I was talking about in the review. For anyone that wants to know what I'm talking about here, the bloke's not very good at tackling. Nico in is a big in, as you said. It'll come down to the centres and the wingers for the Sharks being able to provide enough points to get away from this Raiders team. And throw in Nakora there. I think he's in for a big match, lining up against the likes of some of the outside edges of this Canberra team, which have been fragile at times. I think you might see him score a double, and I'm going to actually go with him man of the match with the Sharks 1-12.
Nice. We need to get to a bet. Have you got one? Do we need one? We've both done our ass this year.
Let's just call it for the year.
It's been a rough night, to be honest, the last 10 minutes. Just quickly, I just want to say that even money Roosters looks like a good bet to me. I think even money around the Knights looks a good bet to me, and I think, but that'll do me, whatever. Yeah. We've done our ass. Sometimes it's good to know when to walk away, Barn.
Close to $1,000 for yourself, $850 for me over the entirety of the season.
Check out footy. Check out. Show us your tips to get it all back over the spring carnival though, because that has been very productive. What's got you frothing? Well, your last hope of the year.
It's obviously the Sunday game for mine. I dare say I'll be coming down here to watch this one. May as well put it all out there for the end of the season. I generally don't like being around too many people when I'm watching the Sharks play.
Yeah.
But unless I'm at the ground, obviously, which doesn't happen that often. But really looking forward to the forward matchup in that game. The Thursday night one's very interesting. You're going to see a whole heap of young guys that we haven't already seen, the likes of Horwath, Moser, Tristan Saylor again coming in for the Broncos team. So, you're going to get some look at a few blokes that haven't been that well exposed in the NRL, and Roosters South is a massive game.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there's two games that matter this week. They're both very interesting.
Penrith Cowboys matters.
It does matter, but it may not by the time we get there. I'm going to say that I'm frothed for the Rabbitohs Roosters game, just to see, given the history, given what happened in this corresponding game last year, given where they're heading, I'm excited to see the Roosters avenge that and put them to the sword and move on. And realistically stamp themselves as a chance of getting deeper into the finals, because I think there's a few teams on wobbly legs that they can clean up along the way through.
I can't remember the last time there was 5 teams out of the top 10 that all had their season come down to the last round.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Roosters, Souths, Cowboys, Sharks and Raiders all fighting for the last 3 spots. Which I suppose
from that point of view, as a competition as a whole, you've got to give them some kudos.
2 of those 5 are going to miss.
Yeah. And looking forward to seeing, as you said, how it pans out on that Sunday afternoon. But we'll review all of that. We'll be back next week. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.